Good morning and welcome to Business. My name is Sandra Esnamapeno. Let's begin. And the United Bank for Africa, UBA, has launched a Platinum MasterCard to allow its high net worth customers to transact business on more than 1,000 sales devices across the world. The card, according to the bank, is part of measures to improve the use of electronic transactions within the economy. Deputy Managing Director of UBA is Sonny Anwar.
Ghana is going cashless, and we are trying to come up with a product to support the government and the people of Ghana so that you can curb this issue of carrying cash from one location to the other. You have just a plastic and a very high standard plastic that recognizes all over the world, that anywhere in the world you are. In fact, in 32 million merchant locations across the globe that you can use this card. So we try to come up with this card at this point in time to meet the need of those upwardly mobile people in this economy.
You are not the only bank coming out with such a card. What makes yours so special?
Okay, UBA own is very special because we put a touch of class to it and the way we offer it. You can have the same card, but how do you offer your card? As we said, is by application. I'm not sure what we're doing tonight. Everybody is done it. We decide we know certain class of customers that we have brought here tonight. You can see all of them around. They've come to witness what we want to do. And I put a price to this, that everywhere you use this card all over the world, this UBA Platinum card, you will find it extremely handy. I can assure you that about 99 to 100% of the time, this card will never fail you.
Banking and finance law firm ENS Africa is urging government to speed up the implementation of the law on cash flow transactions among banks. According to ENS Africa, this law could go a long way to address liquidity challenges among banks.
If, for example, a bank enters into a transaction with one party and gets exposed to 100, that bank can also enter into another transaction with another party. And instead of he getting exposed, he would now work with that other so that the exposure of 100 that he gets exposed here, he does a counter arrangement such that if he gets exposed and has to pay, this person would actually also have to pay him some amount of money. So it hedges the risk relationship. But all of these netting arrangements cannot be effective unless we have a netting law. If we have a netting law in place that recognizes that when you have entered into netting agreements, those should prevail, then that is when it becomes effective. Under our current laws generally, it is very difficult to come to a conclusion that when you have netting arrangements, it would actually prevail when there is an insolvency. It may be that a liquidator, because of a lot of other powers that the liquidator has, can frustrate your ability to be able to enforce your close-out netting positions.
World Bank has launched a set of guidelines on best practices for African economies. Currently, lack of transparency is affecting issuance of licenses for mining corporations. Here's a report by Charles Aite.
On integrity due diligence in extractive sector licensing reveals the level of corruption risks and lack of transparency when it comes to the licensing process for mining corporations. Carrie L. Votana is co-author of this manual and has been telling Joy Business what more has been unearthed.
I think it's timely not just for Ghana, but in most countries in which extractive sector are critical sectors in the country's economy. So now that EITI has its new beneficial ownership disclosure obligations for countries in extractive sector, and Ghana has committed to comply with those obligations, I hope the publication is very timely for many Ghanaians, government officials, stakeholders, and professionals in the sector.
Meanwhile, the Australian ambassador to Ghana, Andrew Barnes, has raised concerns about the growing lack of transparency in the licensing procedures for mining firms. He fears Ghana's extractive industry could become a cabal if information is not made open to the public.
The Australian involvement in Ghana is largely in the extractive sector. We have a lot of contact with the mining community, and we hear anecdotally, unfortunately and very disturbingly, stories of malpractice, corruption, So it does go on, and I think that just highlights the importance of this report and the need for action. And no matter what sort of plans are in place, they've got to be implemented correctly, and there's got to be accountability. And I think one area where a lot of countries do fall short is in holding people to account and following through on investigations.
The World Bank publication is expected to be adopted by regulators and civil society organizations in the extractive value chain to deepen transparency and accountability.
That's all for business this morning with me, Sandra Esinam Afenu. Thanks so much for watching and have a great morning.